Formula One has had the weirdest sponsorships: a Nigerian prince, fake energy drinks, and even the Bin Laden family. Formula One seems to attract weird sponsors more than other sports do. But why is that? Welcome to Athletic Interest. In this video we look at the most controversial sponsorships in Formula One and the sport's addiction to tobacco. Before we start, and due to some comments under our recent video, a quick disclaimer: this video is not sponsored by tobacco, terrorists, nor NFTs. $4.5 billion. That's how much tobacco companies have spent on Formula One sponsorships since 1968. It is the most prominent example of controversial Formula One sponsors. When commercial advertising was allowed that year in Formula One, Lotus immediately dropped his British racing green in favor of a gold leaf cigarette branding. More tobacco sponsorships followed. A lot more. In the 70s and 80s, several companies advertised their cigarette brands with full branding and product logos on cars and uniforms. Why were Formula One and tobacco sponsors such a good fit? One expert explained: it's the ideal sport for sponsorship. It's got glamour and worldwide television coverage. It's a 10-month activity involving 16 races in 14 countries with drivers from 16 nationalities. They are there to get visibility. They are there to sell cigarettes. And they certainly sold a lot of them. Formula One and tobacco seemed like the perfect fit. Philip Morris built its Marlboro brand largely on its association to motorsports. They alone have spent around $2.5 billion on Formula One since '68. But in 2006, the love relationship of tobacco and F1 came to an abrupt end. To be precise, it was banned by an EU directive. So Philip Morris and co. backed down and stopped the lucrative Formula One sponsorship.
What the hell are you talking about? Are you insane? I'm not selling rifles here, I'm in the tobacco business.
Except they didn't. In 2021, Philip Morris still paid $75 million to Ferrari. They simply became more creative on how to go around the rules. For example, with so-called dark market logos. Examples: British American Tobacco used the color and design of key cigarette brands, but not their names. Or the barcode logo on the Ferrari cars. It just looked like a couple of vertical lines, but at high speed you don't need much imagination to see the Marlboro logo. When FIA also banned that advertising, the Ferrari logo changed to this. When FIA also banned this logo, Philip Morris founded a new company that looked like this. On their website it says: Mission Winnow is a change lab focused on reframing global conversations, sparking open debate, connecting people, and supporting the realization of innovative ideas. Whatever the heck that's supposed to mean, in reality it is just a shell company for Phil Morris to keep doing tobacco advertising in F1. Dark market logos are subversive advertising that apparently still works so well that last season tobacco companies spent over $100 million on it. It is so lucrative for sponsors because of F1's young target group. Formula One has the second highest proportion of fans under age 25 of all global sports leagues. 60% of all new fans are under 35. And even though smoking is so damaging to your health, many people flinch more when it comes to another deal. A deal that involves the Bin Laden family. In the mid-70s, Frank Williams was said to be so broke that he sneaked into press conferences to grab some food. On his search for money for him and his team, he was finally successful in Saudi Arabia. He signed the technology group TAC, Saudia Airlines, and later the Al Bilad hotel chain, which was owned by Mohammed bin Laden, father of Osama bin Laden. In 1980, Alan Jones won the Drivers' World Championships for the Al Bilad Williams team. So in a way, the Bin Laden family is partly responsible for the first Williams title in Formula One. At that time, there were no indications of the son's later career. If Bin Laden sponsoring Formula One is still not crazy enough for you, how about this mysterious Nigerian prince who promised $125 million to become co-owner of the Arrows team? This is not some meme that we made up, it actually happened. Not sure if via email, but Prince Malik Ado Ibrahim claimed that he would raise funds through the creation of the T- brand. T- planned to make money by launching an energy drink and selling rebranded products such as clothing and motorcycles. The fact that you have never heard of it should be a clue to its eventual success. T-Miners raised absolutely no money. The prince never paid, completely disappeared, and left nothing but shatters. One would think that modern team principals wouldn't make the same mistakes again. That being said, just recently, in 2019, Formula One somehow found itself embroiled in yet another scandal around a non-existent energy drink company that somehow scammed its way inside the inner circle of the sport. From tobacco to T-Miners. Why are there so many weird sponsorships in F1? There are three main reasons. Formula One is highly competitive. Formula One is extremely expensive. And the revenue depends a lot on sponsorships. The difference between the quickest and slowest car in Formula One is around 1.5 seconds in an average 90-second lap. That's only a 1.3% difference between the best and the worst car. Even the smallest technological advantage can make a difference, so the teams invest heavily in research and development as well as the production. More than half of a team's budget is spent here. The rest is for salaries and logistics and operations. If you compare the cost of McLaren over the past 30 years, you'll see they increased by more than 1,000%. In 1990, they won the title with Senna and a budget of around $25 million. The 2018 financial statements show costs of more than $300 million. Where's all the money coming from? While in the beginning Formula One drove in national colors and there were only oil and tire sponsors, nowadays Formula One teams are very dependent on sponsorship money. An average of 40% of the revenue comes from sponsors. More than 300 brands are F1 sponsors, spending around €1.5 billion annually. Mercedes and Red Bull pump around €200 million into their Formula One teams every year, plus additional sponsorship money, such as Petronas with around €100 million. If the smaller teams want to keep up, they also have to get their hands on money. Advertising spaces are limited, so the only way to do that is to take the sponsors who pay the most. And sometimes these sponsors are a bit controversial. Despite challenges like the ban of tobacco sponsors and, more recently, a growing awareness of the climate crisis, Formula One is more attractive than ever for viewers and therefore also for sponsors. To explore why, make sure to check out our other videos on Formula One.